Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Welcome everybody to MACFEST 2024. Thank you so much for joining us despite the change of the date. I could see we've got quite a few of people in the audience. So Assalamu alaikum today from the UK, from France, and from the US. We originally had this event, hello from Canada, but it is the US now. So if you have any questions, if you'd like to share any thoughts, any opinions, put them in the chat for us. We will pick them up during the event, questions at the end as well. So please, whatever you would like to say or contribute, put them there for us. So before I hand over to our host today, I'd like to thank you all for your generous donations, because we heavily rely on them to create all these wonderful events for you, and we're striving to make most of them free. We still have a couple coming up before we finish MACFEST this year. I will mention at the end the ones that are coming up next weekend. So please keep looking on Eventbrite. And stay connected to MACFEST on social media. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and TikTok, and use our hashtag #SpreadHoneyNotHate. Now, if you joined our previous events, you'll see that we had Arts Awards coming up. The process is now closed, and very soon we will be announcing the finalists. So if you're interested, please keep looking on MACFEST website. So today's host is Asma. Asma, after launching a travel blog in 2010, switched from a career in business operations to specialize in marketing strategy, and has worked across industries such as travel, technology, media, and entertainment. Alongside her marketing career, she's also a radio presenter, currently hosting the Sunday Night Late Show across all BBC radio local stations. And with a keen interest in faith and art, she's a co-founder of IslamicArtPrints.com. It's a curated, artist-driven global platform for affordable Islamic art. Passionate about diversity and inclusion, Asma also recently took up a role as a trustee for a new Manchester-based charity, Pave the Way, which focuses on lifting barriers to human potential by challenging gender stereotypes for boys, girls, men, and women. Over to you, Asma.
Thank you, Catalina, and welcome to everyone who's joined us. Thank you to Kate for the whole of the MACFEST team for this opportunity to be part of what's been a brilliant programme of events. There's been so much happening between now and the start of the year, and there's still so much more to come, which I'm sure we'll hear at the end of this series right now. I'm really excited to be with you today and to introduce a truly special speaker. He was born in Somalia. He spent time in Pakistan, raised in Canada. My guest is a globally successful artist. His music seamlessly blends traditional, modern elements. He's got his own type of sound. Ilyas Mao has made waves in not just music, but film, documentary, animation. One of his standout tracks even features in an Apple TV series. He's got over 50 million streams online. I could honestly keep going because there's so much that we could get through and so much that we're going to get through, because he's not just a singer-songwriter. He's a producer, actor, entrepreneur, visionary founder of Vocal Tunez. And his music resonates not just, as I said, worldwide, but he captures audiences on stage and really kind of pushes the boundaries of creativity and arts. And we've got a lot to get through. But before we do that, let's take a listen to one of his tracks.
رحمن يا رحمن ساعدني يا رحمن اشرح صدري قرآن املأ قلبي قرآن واسق حياتي قرآن رحمن يا رحمن ساعدني يا رحمن اشرح صدري قرآن املأ قلبي قرآن واسق حياتي قرآن واسق حياتي قرآن لله لله يهفو آملي لله ولحفظ كتاب الله من أول بسم الله للختم وللرضوان يا نور يا نور يا محكم يا تنزيل لمحمد عن جبريل من رب العرش دليل للعالم والإنسان رحمن يا رحمن ساعدني يا رحمن اشرح صدري قرآن املأ قلبي قرآن واسق حياتي قرآن واسق حياتي قرآن رحمن يا رحمن ساعدني يا رحمن اشرح صدري قرآن املأ قلبي قرآن واسق حياتي قرآن واسق حياتي قرآن تكبير تكبير للحافظ وهو صغير والضاء العين قرير يحمل فجرا لينير بتلاوته الأكوان الله الله اللهم اجمعنا بكتابك وانفعنا واجعله لنا حسنا وهدى أبدا وأمان رحمن يا رحمن ساعدني يا رحمن اشرح صدري قرآن املأ قلبي قرآن واسق حياتي قرآن واسق حياتي قرآن رحمن يا رحمن ساعدني يا رحمن اشرح صدري قرآن املأ قلبي قرآن واسق حياتي قرآن واسق حياتي قرآن.
That was the beautiful voice of Ilyas Mao, who I'm so pleased to say joins me now. Hello, Ilyas. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to MACFEST.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you for having me. Such a pleasure.
Yeah, I have to say, well, first of all, just for everyone who's listening, we're going to talk for about 50 minutes or so, and there will be an opportunity at the end where we'll open this up for questions. Anything that you want to ask Ilyas, that you're dying to kind of get out there, drop it into the Q&A, drop in the comments, let us know where you're logging in from. It would be lovely to hear from you. And I've got to say, before we get stuck into the chat, I feel like we need to put a little bit of time into that particular song, Ilyas, because first of all, I believe that's probably one of your most streamed songs from what I've seen in the research I've done. How long ago was it when you released that?
I think it was during the pandemic for sure. There was believe it or not, that Nasheed was like just for fun. I discovered Rahman Ya Rahman, the original one by Sheikh Mishari Al-Afasi, the Quran reciter, and I was in love with that Nasheed for many years, and I thought I would remake it. And then as I was singing it, I was like, you know what? Let me try something. So then I switched up the composition. I reproduced it. I re-sang it in a different tone. And yeah, I recorded it in one night. I shot the video the next day, and then the third day it was edited, and the fourth day it was released. So it was a very quick project. And alhamdulillah, like, you know, when you're in the zone creating, you'll get it done within minutes, right? When you're really focused, right? So sometimes, you know, some nasheeds are like that, and some of them take like probably 4 months, a year, 2 years. So yeah, that was the backstory of Rahman Ya Rahman.
Incredible. And I mean, it was a bit of a surprise that we were going to play your Nasheed, and I'm very glad that we are. But I had to do two things throughout that Nasheed. Was one, not try to sing along because nobody needs to hear my singing voice, and two, try not to cry, because I find your sound, your music, the way you kind of bring to life the words in, you know, the lyrics, everything, it just gives you goosebumps. And I'm sure the audience have probably felt the same way if maybe it was the first time that they heard it. But we're going to get into all of your musical kind of catalog. But I kind of want to take us back to the beginning. I mentioned in my intro that you were born in Somalia, but you spent some time in Pakistan. I believe you grew up in Canada. Tell us a bit about your kind of journey. What was growing up like for you?
So a little background history. I come from a family of creatives. So back in Somalia, my uncles from both sides of my parents, the paternal side and the maternal side, they were all artists. They were all creatives, right? So some of them used to be songwriters. Some of them used to be fashion designers. Some of them, visual artists, multi-instrumentalists, right? So that's kind of like my background, but nobody really took it seriously. Nobody did it as a career. Well, the fashion industry, yes. All the tailors and, those guys, they pursued their career in fashion design. So yeah, that was back in Somalia. I was only there for 2 years. So at the age of 2, right before the Civil War, we moved to Pakistan. And we got kind of stuck in Pakistan and we stayed there for like 6 years. It was a 6-year layover. And then I moved to Canada when I was 8 years old. And then since then, I grew up in Canada. I went to school in Canada. I worked in Canada, and now I travel. So I'm kind of all over the place.
For you, you came from a family of creatives, as you mentioned. None of them did it as a career. Was that something that you saw in your career when you were starting out, or was music always a part of something that you loved?
So music was always a part of me. I never imagined pursuing it as a career. It was out of the question, typical immigrant parents wanting their kids to become doctors and engineers, right? So that was out of the question. I just didn't believe that it could be done. Especially the type of music I was making. I was not proud of it, right? So yeah, like I never
What kind of
imagined
music was it when you first started sort of looking at
more,
music?
more like so when I was in grade 9 in high school, that's when I discovered my voice actually. And some of my friends were making songs, and it was not the most halal songs. So I joined them, and then we started creating songs and music for the nightclubs and the bars, right? So those were the type of music that we were making, and it was all like I always felt guilty. So yeah, and alhamdulillah, Allah guided me to make nasheeds.
What is it about music that kind of like sparked your interest? Because I know for me, listening to music or something, it's an instant, well, there are different ways of doing it, right? It can spark an emotion, and that's what drives it for me. Is that kind of what, even though back in the day you may not have made the halal music, but was it something about music that kind of resonated with you?
Absolutely. As far as I can remember, I was always into music. I was always playing some sort of instrument. And I just found it fascinating because it's just the melodies and the chords and the notes. It kind of, I was interested in that as a kid. So my parents would give me a keyboard. I mean, there was like one of those toy keyboards. So that was there in the house, and I started just playing around with it. You're like, wow, how did you learn how to play this? To me, I don't know. I hear the notes and I hear what each key does. And after 5 minutes, I'm playing their favorite Somali songs, So like it was always a part of me. Like I found it very fascinating, even like growing up. When I would walk to the bus or when I would be in a car, I would just keep humming. Like I'm humming something every single day. I'm just singing every day, whether it's a song that I know, or I'm just humming new melodies that just come to my mind. So it's literally like a soundtrack. My whole life is a soundtrack.
I love that. That's a great analogy. And you mentioned there, like, you were like busting out a bit of a Somali tune if you'd heard it in the house. Was it a real mix of genres that you were kind of given that you're from a diverse background? Is that what kind
Yeah,
of played in the house? There was lots of different types of music.
exactly. So like I was talking to my mom. I was driving her, and we were just jamming out. And then she was telling me that when we were all young, right? May Allah bless her. She had 8 kids. She had 8 of us, right?
Mashallah.
So clearly, like, she was really busy, and so in the house she would be making food for us, and she would just have a Somali music, playing out loud, and we would be there. Obviously, that was giving us, some sort of like musical experience, and we would be playing, and then subhanallah, she asked me, "Do you remember this song?" And she sang the melody of it, and subhanallah, I actually caught on to it so quick, and I started singing along. And I probably haven't heard that since I was 3 or 4. So yeah, like, she would play music in the house, and that's sort of like my earliest exposure to music. And probably like when I was in the womb, if she would listen to music, I would hear that too, right? So I think that's where it started.
It's incredible to hear that this is something that's kind of been through your life, even though if it wasn't something you sort of saw as your career. And we're going to get into your kind of musical experience and where your sound comes from. But I wondered at what point did faith start playing an impact in how you kind of approached music, or an impact in your life, I suppose?
Mhm. Well, so as I mentioned before, I always felt guilty making haram music. It didn't feel good. It was really, I felt guilty. I felt darkness surrounding me. And then in 2014, I got introduced to, actually, no, sorry, I was in university, and I started hanging around with the MSA crew, right? My first year of university, second year. So alhamdulillah, I was around the right people, and there
MSA being, just for those who maybe don't, like
MS,
myself.
the Muslim Students Association
There we go.
of
Okay.
campus.
Just
You guys
checking.
call it ISA? ISA?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So alhamdulillah, like, I had Muslims around me in university, because I come from a small city, and my city, like, there's not many Muslims, right? So you would have Muslims coming from other cities to come to our university to study. So I was around them, and one person asked me, "Hey, we're putting together a an MSA dinner. Would you?" They knew I sing, right? Would you care to make some nasheeds? I'm like, nasheeds? Okay, fine. I, I, at that time, I found nasheeds corny and cheesy. So then, subhanallah, I made my first ever nasheed in university, and I performed it. People loved it. So that's when I got introduced to making nasheeds, right? I made 1 or 2, but I would continue on to my other life. I was living a double life, the harami life and the halal life. So yeah, like, slowly, and like, it kind of sort of it had an impact on me, that those days in university, like, that's when you find yourself, right? That's when I explored Islam a little more. I started listening to lectures. I started reciting Quran more, memorizing Quran. So I kind of stopped. I was having a battle with music. So I would stop listening to haram music, and then just listen to Quran, and then it would creep up on me again. I would start listening to music again, making music, and then it was back and forth. It was a struggle. And alhamdulillah, back in 2014, probably my last year of university, is when I started taking it more like I didn't want to make haram music anymore. And that's when I quit haram music. And yeah, and that's when I started making nasheeds.
I suppose it gave you a good opportunity to kind of find, you know, like people do think of nasheeds as like a little bit cheesy, something that like your mom and dad would listen to and almost have this kind of like, oh, it's not something for kids, it's not something for young people. And it's an opportunity for you to kind of break through that. And we can see that through, you know, what you've managed to achieve, I suppose. And I want to get into your music now because we could talk about this for ages, so we better get started. But before we do that, I wonder if we can hear another one of your tracks. So this one is fairly new, I believe.
It's from my newest album, and my newest album is a marriage album. It's all about promoting halal, you know, marriage. Is about promoting nikah, right? And it's a beautiful thing because, you know, I'm a big supporter of families, right? The family unit. While the system and the you know, the outside world is trying to break the family unit, I'm trying to promote that. You know, get married, have kids, live in a family home, right? It's resilience, right? So yes, that was the reason why I made this wedding album. And plus, like, we don't have many halal love songs, you know? Love is beautiful, right? Imagine, you know, seeing your partner in Jannah struggle with this life, you know, go through the challenges, go through the you know, all the difficulties in life and live together in this life. And then in Jannah, right? Your partner is there in Jannah with you. That's the most beautiful thing. So this album is about a journey of love. So the first, you know, before getting married, the honeymoon phase, and then living together and hoping for Jannah. That's literally like the breakdown of the songs. It's like a journey. So I released this video. It's called Committed. And it was released about a month ago when I released the album. It was the first single of the album. I hope you guys enjoy it.
You're so committed. You're so committed. Yeah. You're so committed. You're so committed. Did I deserve this lovely woman in my life? Yeah. I begged and served my Lord to bless me with this wife. Oh, the sky's the limit, yet our love can't reach the stars. So committed, with a love that's truly ours. I can feel it. There's a million ways that it shows. I won't always get along with you, but it's how I work to make it better. So I'm praying to the one above, grant us patience to protect the love. Yes, I love the way you look today, and the beauty in the things you say. I hope you know you're more than a girl, more than the sweetest perfume, raising the world. Uma is born from the Ya Muslimah. Where will I be without you? This ain't enough to share the joy within my heart. Yeah. And it might be rough, but still the song is just a start. Yeah. It's God who did it, God did. He completed half our deed, and I admit it. I'm still shopping for my queen, can you feel it? There's a billion ways it could go. I just wanna spend time with you, hoping we can only grow together. Sunny, rainy, any storm or sky, we can face it all until we die. If the Lord above should make it so, I'll be there through every high and low. I hope you know you're more than a girl, more than the sweetest perfume, raising the world. Uma is born from the Ya Muslima. Where will I be without you? Oh, oh, oh. You're more than a girl, more than the sweetest perfume, raising the world. Uma is born from the Ya Muslima. Where will I be without you? Oh, 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 oh. So committed, so committed, so committed, so committed, so committed. So committed, so.
There we go. One of your latest tracks from new album, specifically for wedding, well, released with the theme of marriage. I have to say, sick line, Umma is born from the That is one genius lyric right there. And, you know, I want to get into your music now, because so this album, for example, is this something that you've written music-wise, lyrically? Is it collaboration? How have you put that together? Oh, I think you're on mute. We're doing the...
So with Committed, it was yeah, so I just wanted to have like a collection of songs that, you know, people can actually play it and enjoy it during weddings and, you know, these you know, festivities. And Committed came about, you know, just, you know, when a couple gets married, you know, it's like that honeymoon song, you know, when they're on a honeymoon and they want to, you know. So I created the melody first, and I wanted it to have like an 80s or 70s theme, and hence why like the color scheme, and, you know, the car, right? So when I was growing up, I was really influenced by like Michael Jackson and you know, R&B in general, right? So I kind of gave it that feel, right? And I came up with the melody first, and then the first line that came to my mind was "so committed," just committed, right? And I made the whole melody, and then I created the background vocals, and then the beatboxing as well. And then I had a friend, shout out to Muzzy Mike. He's a big friend, like an amazing writer. So I sent it to him. I sent him the melody, and alhamdulillah, he wrote the entire song. And yeah, and then I sang it, sent it back to him. I'm like, what do you think? Like, it's amazing. Release it. So then we made the video for it, and that's how it came to be, alhamdulillah. But committed was so committed. That line was like what started this whole thing. And this song was supposed to be about queens, so our mothers, our sisters, our wives. And then when he started writing the lyrics, I'm like, wait a minute, what if this could be like a song about a husband and a wife? So we changed it. We changed it, and then I was like, wait a minute, I want to make a wedding album. So that's literally how this song came to be.
That's brilliant. And is that, you know, you mentioned that, you know, everything from like the video, the colors, the sounds in the background, things like that. Is that how you kind of see when you're approaching music? Like you're looking at it as a full curation of almost an experience, because you're bringing that all to life, right?
Yeah, like when I'm producing in the studio, by the way, everything is created by my vocals. I don't use any musical instruments.
And that is incredible. Like you would not tell listening to that. And that's what makes you, I believe, so unique. How long have you been doing, you know, working in that way?
So I quit music back in 2014. So I used to produce music with a keyboard and everything. And then when I quit that, I was like, how else am I going to make music? I don't know how else, you know? So then I started like just experimenting with my voice, and I would just sing, you know, tunes and put it all together. because I had that production experience. So I started off being a producer. So I had that experience in producing sound. And then I just like, you know, when there's a line where it goes, if you don't have much, you will make something out of nothing. It's somewhere along those lines. So I didn't have much. I didn't have any musical instruments anymore. So I had to like really, you know, challenge myself. And the sound that I hear in my mind, I would bring it to life. And that's how I produce. So as I'm producing, as I'm coming up with all these sounds, I'm thinking of the holistic song, the entire song. I know what the end goal is, right? I can hear the final song before the final song is done.
So that kind of composition and everything is just kind of there for you, it sounds like. And, you know, you're kind of visualizing this. By the way, on your marriage album, are you going to get to like the trials and tribulations, and or are you going to keep it quite happy and positive?
Yeah, it's positive. It's positive. I did want to, you know, subhanAllah, like, you know, in life, you experience so much, right? Like, why can't we have a song about, you know, divorce, for example, and the challenges of divorce and the mental drain that people have with divorce, right? I think it would, you know, touch a lot of hearts, because, you know, sometimes we don't know what we have until it's gone, right? So I mean, I didn't want to be a downer in this album. I kind of wanted to have this album as like a feel good, you know, just wedding vibes, you know. That's what I kind of wanted.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have to say, you know, I think, and that's the thing with faith, right? Because there's a lot of things that can be really heavy in terms of the subjects that we think about, we talk about, that are, you know, that we just generally that come with being a Muslim or a person of any faith, you know, thinking ahead to when you die, you know, what happens, and when you lose someone and all those things. And you talk a lot about, you know, social issues, a lot of self-discovery like comes through in your music, but everything has a very positive emotional element to it. And is that, you know, and that's why I sort of said, you know, when you look at trials and tribulations, you don't have to see it as a negative, because there's a lot of positives you can take and that you can learn from. But for you, with kind of you touching on issues that are maybe, you know, a little bit like the animation video you did, whose name escapes me. What was it now? All in Your Hands?
All in Your Hands.
All in Your Hands. Yes, that one. You know, that's a quite a serious story that plays out in this animation, but you still feel positive at the end of it. For you, is that kind of a purpose that you want to bring that?
Yeah, absolutely. Because, you know, there are many people that I meet that are going through hardships. There's so many people suffering in silence, right? And one verse from the Quran that really, really stands out to me is with every hardship comes ease. فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا إِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. So why then are you sad? Why are you, you know, just giving up on life? Because look, it's like Allah gives us so much, right? He gives us so much, and he takes one thing away, and that will ruin our entire lives. But what about all the blessings that he gave us? So that is the main theme of my entire career, because I've gone through ups and downs. I've gone through, you know, difficulties of life, you know. And to be honest, I see difficulty as in between blessings, right? Because it's a cycle. You're blessed one day, you know, and then another day you're going through it, right? But this going through it is just, you know, you're in between blessings, right? There's going to be another blessing coming your way. You can't always be, you know, sad. You can't always be going through it the whole, like, every day, right? So I truly believe فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا إِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. With every hardship comes ease. And I made a lot of nasheeds about that, actually. You know, so like Knew You, Spread Your Wings, can't remember, Still I Rise, right? These are nasheeds about, you know, hanging in there. Just hang in there. You'll see better days. So that's I love that verse from the Quran, and that's why like I keep reminding people, hey, don't worry, it's gonna get better. Just hang in there, you know.
I said listening to your songs makes me emotional, and now you even just
SubhanAllah.
speaking is making me emotional. So this is going to be interesting for the last part of our chat. I'll try and keep it together. I mentioned, you know, you've had a huge success. You've got over 50 million streams online. Your music, when I look, you know, at everything, you know, across social media, the internet, you know, the span of where you've been, you're kind of global, right? How does it feel to you to know that the work that you're doing now, all these nasheeds that you're bringing to life, how it resonates with people from all over the world? How does that make you feel?
It's surreal. It's a very weird feeling, because when I'm in the studio and I'm making these sounds and I'm making these nasheeds and I release it and it's just out there. I don't know who's listening, right? I just release it, and I once in a while I might look at my analytics on YouTube and Spotify, and then I see countries where my nasheeds are being streamed. Like, it's very interesting. I never imagined people from you name it, like they're listening to my nasheeds, and it's a blessing, subhanallah. And I never imagined, you know, people from Latvia listening to my nasheeds, people from countries I can't even pronounce, right? And yeah, it's surreal. It's surreal. It's and to me, I'm not used to. You see, after I tour, all the madness, all the people coming up to me, praising me, and signing, signing autographs and taking selfies. That all comes to an end, and I come back home and I'm living in a regular life. And then somebody would just randomly approach me, "Hey, you're Ilyas Mao," and that to me is so weird, because it's just subhanallah. Like, I'm just a human. I'm just a human. I'm not a prophet. I'm not a sheikh. I'm a nobody, right? Just yesterday, I was at the airport, and one of the security came up to me. She's like, "Excuse me, you're Ilyas." You know, when you walk into the thing and you're just like,
oh no.
hand
Yeah.
down, and then she goes, "Okay, come out, please." And she looks at me. She's like, "Excuse me, are you Ilyas?" I'm just like, "Oh my God."
And you're like, yes, it's me.
It was crazy. It was great. So things like this happen, and I forget that I'm Ilyas Mao. To me, I'm just Ilyas, regular Ilyas, walking through security, paying bills, going through life, right? So when stuff like this happens, it's crazy. Like, I thank Allah. I thank Allah for it, and I don't see myself as a famous, as someone who's very successful. I see myself as just, this is the responsibility that Allah has given me, and I'm doing what I have to do. That's it.
You say that you're just, average, if Ilyas living a normal life, but you have got a special gift, and you're able to take that to the world, which we're all grateful for. And you've been to places like South Africa, you've been to Tokyo, and I've seen you like even perform songs, and not only like English or Arabic, you've done Urdu, and I'm sure I've seen a clip of you singing in Malay as well at some point. For you, performing live, or has it been like maybe a memorable performance that you've done?
Like throughout my career?
Yeah.
Like a memorable performance? With me, I'm a special case. Like, I appreciate experiences. So like, when I try good food for the first time, I say, "This is the best food ever."
You show a lot of food on your social media, I must say.
I love places. I love traveling. So like, I'm like when a baby first experiences everything for the first time and they're so fascinated by it, that's the kind of person I am. I'm really, so I don't have a special, like, when I travel, a lot of people ask me, what's the best place you've ever been to? I don't have the best place I've ever been to, because every country I go to, it's a new experience, right? And I'm just taking it day by day, right? So with me, performances, I give it my all, whether it's 5 people, whether it's 2 people, or thousands of people, right? I'm giving them a piece of me, and you know, and I'm allowing them to experience this, you know, conversation that I have with Allah, right? So when I'm on stage, I right before I go on stage, I pray to Allah, and you know, I make dua that Allah accepts it from me, right? And I go on and I do my thing, and like I said, I've had crowds of like 1 row in the entire audience. I've had a crowd of like 10 people, right? And then I had a crowd of 15,000, 20,000, right? So to me, they're all amazing experiences. So I can't really pinpoint one special performance that I've done. To me, they're all special to me.
You've also worked with quite a lot of other prominent artists like Bona, Isam, Omar Isa, Ashley Chin. You've done like a lot of collaborations. Do you, you know, is that something that's also a big part of your music? And I know you kind of get people to help with lyric writing and things like that. Is that where you kind of find your space?
So majority of the time, I'm in my studio by myself. So when I'm making my albums, I'm there alone. I don't have anybody with me, because everybody's spread out, right? Some people live in the UK, some people live in Canada, USA, Australia, Malaysia. So our network is quite, you know, expansive. And so when I do collaborate, it's a very special moment, because 2 very talented people or 3 talented people are coming together, and you're picking their brain, they're picking your brain, and it gels together. Sometimes we might not be at the same place at the same time, but through the internet, we're able to make beautiful pieces just through the internet. So like my last collaboration was with Omar Isa. He had reached out to me regarding a song about Aqsa, which is home, right? And so he sent me. He told me about it. And I told him, hey, you know, I would love to be a part of it. And he sent me the first few melodies, and I fell in love with it, and I built upon what he sent me. So I had to come up with my own verse, which, you know, it's called Home, right? And then I gradually, you know, I was leading up to the chorus, and then he would take the chorus, and then Muslim Bilal would take another verse, and we put it all together. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful sound. And believe it or not, like when I first heard the final track, because he worked with this engineer in London, and I went to London to shoot the video with him and Muslim Bilal. When I heard the final track, I literally started just tearing up and crying, because it was so beautiful. It touched my heart, right? So there's a special feeling about collaborating with other artists, because we're in the same space and we think the same. And I mean, we don't think the same, but sometimes we're in the same sort of like element. We're in the same element, right? So it's a beautiful, beautiful feeling. I've collaborated with so many people, and I truly believe as an artist, you would be you would be a fool not to collaborate with other artists. You know, it's like it's a must, right? So I love it. I love it.
I'm conscious of time. We're coming up to the final 10, 15 minutes or so of this webinar. And if anyone does have any questions, feel free to drop them into the comment box or the Q&A, and we'll make sure we get to them, because I'm sure there's probably a lot people want to ask you. And I know I've certainly not got anywhere near through half of the things I wanted to ask you, Ilyas, but I want to kind of just pivot slightly to Vocal Tunes, which is a production house that you actually started. So here you are, you've created music, and now you've actually opened a venture that kind of brings others into the mix. What has that journey been like for you?
subhanallah, you know, I realized that in our industry, there's not many producers, right? Especially vocals only producers. And I wanted to make it easy for other artists to make their dreams come true, you know, and to sing, because you can't just sing without any backing tracks. You can, but it sounds really dry, right? Just your voice on a microphone. So I wanted to give other people an opportunity to use vocals only tracks in their videos, because there's so many people that make videos that have no music, because they're staying away from musical instruments. So I'm giving them a platform that they can use. So we've done soundtracks for films with Vocal Tunes. We've done soundtracks for documentaries, commercials, and I just finished making an entire album for one of my clients in Germany. So I produced vocals, custom vocals only for his entire album. So that's what we do. We do custom, bespoke vocals only for any type of project: videos, movies, albums, poetry, rap. So that's what Vocal Tunes is about. And alhamdulillah, it's been amazing. We officially launched in 2021, but we were doing it for like over 10 years. But it was time to actually make it legit and make a name for it and launch it, right? So yeah, Vocal Tunes, alhamdulillah, it's going really well.
I wanted to call you, I'd written on my notes a triple threat, but it's not actually the right word, because you're not just a singer, songwriter, composer. You have a production house, you produce, you've done acting, you know, you're technically an entrepreneur. So it's kind of, there's a lot that goes on in Ilyas Mao's world. How do you actually balance all of this?
It's you know, when you're in it, you just have to be fully in it. So if I'm acting in a show or a movie, that's all I'm focusing on, right? And then I take off that hat, wear another hat as a producer. I sit in the studio for hours just creating. And subhanallah, this is the beauty of my work, because I'm not just doing one thing every single day. And this is a blessing from Allah. Alhamdulillah for Allah giving me this opportunity to wear many hats, because me as an artist is something separate than everything is like in its own box, right? So when I'm not touring, I'm in the studio producing, either for myself, for my album, or other people's albums, right? Other people's you know, songs. If I'm not doing that, I'm working on something else. I'm being a father. If I'm not doing that, I'm, you know, being a husband. So everything's in a box. And subhanallah, you know, I was diagnosed with ADHD, so I think this is the perfect job for me.
Got all the variation.
Yeah, and I love it, because
lots of challenges.
Yeah, lots of challenges. Every day is a new day. I don't have it might be a positive thing and a negative thing, because I don't have routine in my life. There's no set schedule, set routine. I can't, because one day I'm in a different time zone, another day I'm, you know, I'm doing different things, right? So alhamdulillah, I'm really excited, and I love it. I love it.
We haven't even began to kind of touch on some of the things you've done around acting, but is being an actor something you would like to do more of?
I would love to do more acting. If the opportunity is there, inshallah, I'm gonna inshallah take it. There's voice acting that I've done as well for cartoons. So I played like different characters in different cartoons and stuff, and it's really interesting. I can it's like wearing it's like wearing a mask and becoming someone else, which is quite scary, but it's funny at the same time.
Before we kind of wrap this up, yes, I'm interested to know sort of, what does the future look like for you? Any kind of upcoming projects, exciting things that you're working on? Obviously, you have the new songs coming out, this recently released album, but what's next for you?
So alhamdulillah, I so far I released 3 studio albums. Um, I feel like I'm just getting started, honestly speaking. Like, I'm just at a point where how can I now, as a professional doing this for 10 years, how can I go to the next level? How can I touch more hearts around the world? How can I inspire more people? And because, you know, I'm trying to spread positivity around the world, right? Whether it's making music, whether it's acting, whether it's, this is, for me, this is a form of da'wah, right? So I want to focus on, I kind of want to, you know, switch the gears and focus on children's material. That's something I did explore it in the past, but it was like a sort of like, you know, like one hit wonders. But I kind of want to, it's just a challenge. It's a challenge that I want to take on.
Do you
Children's
mean
material.
through like nursery kind of rhymes or
Yeah,
things that children would sing
yeah,
and
because
watch? And
children grasp onto things. So if I can educate in a way where, you know, it shapes them for the rest of their lives, that would be amazing for me. That's like sadaqah jariyah, you know? Like for example, Dawood Warnsby and Zain Bika, we learned so much from those legends, right? When I was a kid, I used to listen to them, and till now, like those lyrics still resonate with me, you know? And it's only when I got older that I really took in the lyrics, and you know, it really it really shaped me, you know? So I kind of want to do that as well, for children growing up in the West, you know, and that's what I want to do.
how difficult do you think it is, Ilyas, in this day and age now, being Muslim, being out there, you know, on social media, which, you know, obviously you use for your promotion and, you know, you show your journey, you share your journey, but how important is it? Well, let me go back to my first question. How tough is it for Muslims in this day and age?
Muslims are being bombarded left, right, and center with filth, with demonic messages and all of that. And subhanallah, we're just taking it in. We're just absorbing everything. And subhanallah, like, it's not healthy, because music is very it motivates you, right? It's a powerful tool, right? So when the industry releases filth to the youth, it affects them in real life. And subhanallah, sometimes, most of the case, you know, the artists that are making these songs, other people are writing for them. There's one producer in God knows where, Norway or something. He's responsible for many hits. Britney Spears, Michael Jackson, all the big names. There's one person producing all of this. And sometimes there are hidden messages in there. Now it's like very outwardly, like it's very, you know? So music is a powerful tool, and I truly believe, you know, I truly believe it's satanic sometimes. And our kids are, they're really, you know, absorbing that, whether it's music from the radio or wherever it is. So we have to do our best to basically give our Muslim brothers and sisters something that, you know, something that is positive. Not only Muslims, actually, non-Muslims too, because when I perform for a non-Muslim crowd, they're mind blown more than my Muslim crowd. So it's like, wow, like it really, the lyrics really touch them. And it's like, sometimes, you know, I feel like, subhanallah, you know, sometimes I wish that I could do more performances for the non-Muslim crowd, you know, just so that they can have a breath of fresh air with new sounds and positive message. So we really have to, it's our responsibility to keep, you know, producing positive material. And it's a form of da'wah, like I said in the past. So it's really important.
Absolutely. And, you know, with the the work that I've done previously, and I've interviewed and spoken to people from across various faiths, you know, like leaders in faith. And what I found incredible is the amount we have in common when it comes to values, community, working together, living together, bringing up our children. It's all the same. And actually, when you think about, as you just, you know, highlighted some of the music that comes out, it's not just a Muslim thing to be wanting something that's a bit clean or a bit family, for something you'd listen to with your mom and dad, you know. The amount of times you would have grown up and been like, oh, I need to switch that song off because it's,
Yeah.
you know, incredibly inappropriate. But being able to celebrate and enjoy and have those moments together, that it's not, you know, it's something that we promote heavily in Islam, but it's not unique to Muslims.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, we are going through kind of quite turbulent times, and there is a lot of positivity. We've spoken about this throughout this conversation, you know, that your music brings to people. If you know, were to kind of wrap up everything that you do, what is the message that you want to convey to people?
So Allah gives us different abilities. Everybody has different, you know, superpowers, I guess. That's what I call it. Superpowers. I truly believe we as Muslims or even non-Muslims, we need to use our superpowers to create a better world. Because right now, this world is just, it's crazy right now, right? So everybody has a superpower, and if we all collaborated and if we all came together, right? I think we can battle the evils and battle the what you call it, the troublemakers. we could really, because we have power in numbers, right? Imagine a collaboration between Muslims and Christians and, you know, just humanity, a collaboration with humanity coming together and saying, hey, we're fed up. We're fed up of just a couple of people on top pulling strings and playing with the world, right? We're fed up of that, right? So united we stand tall, divided we fall. That's what it is.
Do you think there's enough of that within the Muslim community? Because sometimes there is division between us, and it's very easy to get hung up on judgments. And
we need the biggest, like, we need to fix up. We definitely need to fix up, because we're focusing on the smallest things that don't even matter. Let's look at the bigger picture. We need to come together as Muslims first and foremost, because, like, there's just so much. It's so sad. It's so sad. Our deen promotes unity. You know, you get more rewards praying together, right? But we're not even, that unity part in Islam is completely gone. SubhanAllah, like, there's so many people just bickering and fighting and arguing. And guys, like, we're all Muslims. Let's work together rather than focusing on little bits and bobs, right? So I think we need to fix up, definitely, because if we all come together, we're going to be very powerful. There's no stopping us.
Well, you show that through collaborations, you know, the work that you do. And I think it's the more people see that, and the more people see Muslims coming together, creating great things, you know, there's only one way that can go. And just finally, any advice for aspiring musicians that might be listening, or anyone that wants to get into music and wants to do it the halal way?
First of all, like, you know, I know there are talented people out there, but, you know, it's really hard to find talented people because they don't believe in themselves, right? Just like how I didn't believe in it when I was younger. It took me like just a couple of people to really convince me, hey, look, you have talent, you should use it. And I took that and I worked hard. I didn't just have things handed to me. I actually put in the work. And so you have a lot of these younger the younger generation. I noticed there's no working hard anymore. It's instant gratification. Like they just want to be a star tomorrow or now. I want to be no, it takes time, it takes patience. You know, you might have a lot of doors shut on you, right? But you don't stop. If you have talent and you have talent, and you know, like you truly believe in yourself and you believe in your talent, then work hard for it. Don't try to do this for the money. Don't try to do this for fame. You have to recognize that this is a responsibility from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you need to use the talent that Allah, the superpower that Allah gave you to contribute to society. So yeah. I guess that's it.
Just don't give up on your talent and work hard, which is something I always I remember being like in my 20s and people always saying that to me and being like, I'm working hard. And now I'm coming up to my 40s and I feel like I'm there lecturing everyone going, you need to really put the effort in. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I've moved up that generation now where I'm lecturing people to put in the work. But it's got to be said, right?
Have to, yeah. That's absolutely.
Now, just really quickly before we wrap this up, I'm based out here in the UK, so I'm slightly biased, but I believe you're coming to the UK in August.
I am. August, we have a 9-city tour in August with the Vocal Arts Festival by 26. And this is going to be featuring many artists, Muslim Bilal, Isam, Malik, Muzzy Mike. No, sorry, I'm getting names mixed up. Sayed, Saif Adam, Mike Rook. Yes, Mike Rook for the first time. He's coming to the UK. Amin Davis. Amin Davis is a new artist. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. He's a Hollywood turned Muslim, Hollywood star that turned Muslim. SubhanAllah. So Amin Davis is coming. So yeah, we're gonna have a really good time. The last time we did it was in December. We did a 6-city tour. This time it's gonna be 9 cities, and we're gonna be going across the UK. So yeah, tickets are online. You guys can get it, and inshallah, I'll be bringing some merch and some albums and stuff. Inshallah.
Amazing. Listen, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you today. You know, we said this when we started that I was very excited to have the opportunity to speak with you. So thank you very much for your time. Jazakallah, and you know, pray that everything continues down this great path and you continue with your success, and look forward to seeing you in the UK when you arrive.
Allah. Thank you so much, Asma.
I'm going to hand back to Katarzyna as well, but sorry, go on, I'll let you.
No worries. I just, the new album is out. It's on Spotify and iTunes, and videos are out. I actually released a new video 8 hours ago. It's called Mabrook. And I'm going to be releasing videos from the album as the months go by, inshallah. So guys, stream it, inshallah. Thank you for the support. Thank you, Asma, and thank you, MACFEST. Jazakallah khair to everyone.
You're welcome. Tom, could you play the last video?
We'll get a sneak peek of the new video. This is exciting.
Here we are, just sharing the joy. Party vibes and no need to try. It is time for us to deploy with the praises to the Most High. This is major what you've done, but you've only just begun, and it'll only grow from here. May Allah bless you. May He protect you. Grant you righteous children. From the bottom of my heart I say Mabruk, Mabruk. Thank Allah that we made it today. Mabruk, Mabruk. Clap your hands as we celebrate. Mabruk, Mabruk. Ya Rab, make this marriage so great. Ameen. अल्लाह का शुक्रिया जो दिन है ये दिया खुशियों के पलों को बरकत से भर दिया खुश रहो तुम सदा यही मेरी दुआ सदा खुश रहना दुआ ये मेरी दुआ है सबकी निकाह है नेमत From the bottom of my heart I say Mabruk, Mabruk Thank Allah that we made it today Mabruk, Mabruk Clap your hands as we celebrate Mabruk, Mabruk Ya Rab make this marriage so great Ameen محتار ما أدري كيف أبارك وأهنيكم كلي تهاني ربنا يبارك فيكم مبروك اليوم زواجكم وفرح دايما عليكم أدعي ربي يساعدكم هلا هلا بالعريس هلا هلا بالعروس أصحابنا والأهل مبروك مبروك From the bottom of my heart I say مبروك مبروك Thank Allah that we made it today مبروك مبروك Clap your hands as we celebrate مبروك مبروك Ya Rab make this marriage so great It's just a matter of time now Till we can witness the baby Then you gon' fall in the sajda Inshallah not a maybe It's one of his biggest blessings Still gon' come with his stressings Just keep your faith in each other Beautiful father and mother Yeah Mabruk, Mabruk From the bottom of my heart I say Mabruk, Mabruk Thank Allah that we made it today Mabruk, Mabruk Clap your hands as we celebrate Mabruk, Mabruk Ya Rab make this marriage so great Ameen
Brand new single from Ilyas. Sorry, I'm going to hand back to Katarina.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ilyas. Thank you so much for joining us. Even though we moved this event, thank you for finding time. It was amazing. I was so looking forward to this event. I'm so glad we could be there. So before you go away, I just wanted to say that we've got few events coming up. We've got Abdullah William Mosque and the first Muslim community in the UK, and that's on Saturday, next weekend. Then on Sunday, 21st of July, we've got Afghani women artists. Now we sold out all the tickets, but we've got another option to buy on Eventbrite. So if you are interested, it's going to be a really good event. And then we've got on Sunday, also 21st of July in the afternoon, an event with Roxana Gidrus about books and her writing story. So Asma, it's been fantastic. Thank you so much. You've been just great. Yeah,
thank you for me,
I'm
Asma.
so happy.
You've been fantastic as always. And Ilyas just gone. I want to thank you. He's been phenomenal. What an amazing guide. I'm so glad we hosted him. And thank you to our audience, regular audience who join us. So assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Enjoy your Sunday. And of course, it's the football team tonight. A very exciting day. Asma, do you want to say anything?
No, just thank you again for having me. It's been a real pleasure to be part of this, as always, and make sure everyone does check out MACFEST